we are very lucky to be joined by one of my favorite journalists. He's based in Islamabad, Mr. Javed Rana. Javed, thanks for joining me here today on Front Page. Now, this is a newspaper from Pakistan.The out in Lahore. Imran Khan spoke to CNN yesterday. He feels that there's more terrorism out there. What's your take on this article?
Well, what the Prime Minister has said, everybody knows, at least in this part of the world, that the US invasion of Afghanistan is at the heart of the terrorism, not only in this part of the world, I mean in South Asia, Central Asia, but also in the Middle East, in the North Africa, and also I would say now the terrorism has landed in Europe and also back in the USA. So we have to see the bigger picture. And you may recall the General Clark, he was an American journal. He said that after his retirement, after 9/11, he went to the Pentagon, and he was told that the actual plan of attacking is not only Afghanistan, it is Iraq, it is Iran, it is Libya, it is Syria. There was a long list of the countries that the Americans had planned for the attack. It was not meant for the terrorism. There was some other hidden geo-strategic political objectives behind that, and those objectives have backfired, and many people blame that 9/11 was a false flag operation. It was just a kind of a justification to attack Afghanistan. So they have killed more than 200,000 in Afghanistan. In Pakistan, there were spillover effects. 70,000-80,000 people were killed, and then they went to Iraq on a very flimsy pretext that there was a mass destruction weapons which were not there, and they have killed, I would say, more than million people, both in direct and indirect effects, because you have to see also of what Americans did in Iraq, in the Middle East in the early 90s. And similarly, from there, they encouraged and they abetted this Arab Spring. And then there was Libya. I mean, in Libya, tens of thousands of people have died, and there's a complete chaos in Middle East now, and the credit goes to the Americans, and they are completely responsible. So they came to Afghanistan to get rid of 400 Al-Qaeda members, and they have created now tens of thousands of the militants all over the world. So these are their policies. Now the net result down the line after 20 years is that Americans are no longer perceived to be a superpower. It is one of the great power like Russia, like China. It is now competing with both of them. They have lost their prestige they used to have because their so-called war on terror has backfired. It was American war. It was purely designed for their political and geostrategic objectives. It was not the terrorism behind which they came into Afghanistan or went to the other countries. So, and now you have seen that no country is taking Americans as much serious as it used to be. Russia has called off its bluff in the Middle East, and it is calling off its bluff in Central Asian states, though there are different reasons. But we have to see that the Americans are no longer in a position to come down hard on Russia on the question of Ukraine. And that is very clear. Russia knows that the Americans cannot go beyond imposing some economic sanctions, because earlier on Russia annexed Crimea. The Americans have not been able to do anything. And similarly, if there is an invasion of Ukraine, Americans would not be able to do anything. So their so-called war on terror has backfired. And obviously, the American has lost its prestige and status of a superpower.
Indeed, Javed, indeed, very nicely said. It is very interesting how things are developing around the world because of America's intervention. Javed Rana, Islamabad, journalist, top journalist. Love seeing you. Take care, speak well, and we'll speak soon.
The growing tide of anti-Israel sentiments. What you see behind me is just tip of the iceberg of what is happening in the country. More than half of $52 billion black CIA budget is spent on espionage network in Pakistan. How would you handle it?
The US has looked upon Pakistan as an ally at one point and then as an enemy at the same time.
that is going to be the first legal reason on the basis of which he is going to be instantly ousted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Joining us live, Javed Rana, who's an expert on politics and geostrategic issues.
In the world politics, which is not being driven by any moral principle, it is being driven by the hard geostrategic realities. In a broader picture, more countries would aspire to have nuclear weapons.